This lecture is about the evaluation of text retrieval systems. In the previous lectures, we have talked about a number of text retrieval methods, different kinds of ranking functions. But how do we know which one works the best? In order to answer this question, we have to compare them, and that means we have to evaluate these retrieval methods. So this is the main topic of this lecture. First, let's think about why do we have to do evaluation. I already gave one reason, and that is we have to use evaluation to figure out which retrieval method works better. Now, this is very important for advancing our knowledge. Otherwise, we wouldn't know whether a new idea works better than an old idea. In the beginning of this course, we talked about the problem of text retrieval. We compared it with database retrieval. There we mentioned that text retrieval is an empirically defined problem. So evaluation must rely on users. Which system works better would have to be judged by our users. So this becomes a very challenging problem, because how can we get users involved in the evaluation? How can we do a fair comparison of different methods? So just go back to the reasons for evaluation. I listed two reasons here. The second reason is basically what I just said, but there is also another reason, which is to assess the actual utility of a text retrieval system. Now imagine you're building your own search engine applications. You would be interested in knowing how well your search engine works for your users. So in this case, measures must reflect the utility to the actual users in a real application. And typically this has to be done by using user studies and using the real search engine. In the second case, or for the second reason, the measures actually only need to be correlated with the utility to actual users. Thus, they don't have to accurately reflect the exact utility to users. So the measure only needs to be good enough to tell which method works better. And this is usually done through a test collection. And this is the main idea that we'll be talking about in this course. This has been very important for comparing different algorithms and for improving a search engine system in general. So next we'll talk about what to measure. Right? There are many aspects of a search engine that we can measure, we can evaluate. And here I listed the three major aspects. One is effectiveness or accuracy. How accurate are the search results? In this case, we're measuring a system's capability of ranking relevant documents on top of non-relevant ones. The second is efficiency. How quickly can a user get the results? How much computing resources are needed to answer a query? So in this case, we need to measure the space and time overhead of the system. The third aspect is usability. Basically, the question is how useful is the system for real user tasks? Here, obviously, interfaces and many other things are also important, and we typically would have to do user studies. Now, in this course, we're going to talk mostly about effectiveness and accuracy measures, because the efficiency and usability dimensions are not really unique to search engines, and so they are needed for evaluating any other software systems. And there is also good coverage of such materials in other courses. But how to evaluate a search engine's quality or accuracy is something unique to text retrieval, and we're going to talk a lot about this. The main idea that people have proposed for using a test set to evaluate the text retrieval algorithm is called the Cranfield evaluation methodology. This one actually was developed a long time ago, developed in 1960s. It's a methodology for laboratory tests of system components. It's actually a methodology that has been very useful not just for search engine evaluation, but also for evaluating virtually all kinds of empirical tasks. And for example, in natural language processing or in other fields where the problem is empirically defined, we typically would need to use such a methodology. And today, with the big data challenge with the use of machine learning everywhere, this methodology has been very popular. But it was first developed for search engine application in 1960s. So the basic idea of this approach is to build reusable test collections and define measures. Once such a test collection is built, it can be used again and again to test the different algorithms. And we're going to define measures that would allow you to quantify the performance of a system or an algorithm. So how exactly would this work? Well, we're going to have a sample collection of documents, and this is just to simulate the real document collection in a search application. We're going to also have a sample set of queries or topics. This is to simulate the user's queries. Then we'll have to have relevance judgments. These are judgments of which documents should be returned for which queries. Ideally, they have to be made by users who formulate the queries, because those are the people that know exactly what documents would be used for. And then finally, we have to have measures to quantify how well a system's result matches the ideal ranked list that would be constructed based on users' relevance judgments. So this methodology is very useful for starting retrieval algorithms because the test collection can be reused many times, and it would also provide a fair comparison for all the methods. We have the same criteria, same data set to be used to compare different algorithms. This allows us to compare a new algorithm with an old algorithm that was developed many years ago by using the same standard. So this is the illustration of how this works. So as I said, we need queries that are shown here. We have Q1, Q2, etc. We also need documents, that's called a document collection. And on the right side, you see we need relevance judgments. These are basically the binary judgments of documents with respect to a query. So for example, D1 is judged as being relevant to Q1, D2 is judged as being relevant as well, and D3 is judged as non-relevant to Q1, etc. These would be created by users. Once we have these, and then we basically have a test collection. And then if you have two systems, you want to compare them, then you can just run each system on these queries and documents, and each system would then return results. Let's say if the query is Q1, and then we would have results here. Here I show R sub A as results from system A. So this is, remember we talked about the task of computing an approximation of the relevant document set. R sub A is system A's approximation here, and R sub B is system B's approximation of relevant documents. Now let's take a look at these results. So which is better? Now imagine if you're a user, which one would you like? Let's take a look at both results. And there are some differences, and there are some documents that are returned by both systems. But if you look at the results, you would feel that, well, maybe A is better in the sense that we don't have many non-relevant documents, and among the three documents returned, two of them are relevant. So that's good. It's precise. On the other hand, one can also say maybe B is better because we've got more relevant documents. We've got 3 instead of 2. So which one is better? And how do we quantify this? Well, obviously this question highly depends on a user's task, and it depends on users as well. You might be able to imagine for some users, maybe system A is better. If the user is not interested in getting all the relevant documents, right? In this case, the user doesn't have to read many, and the user would see most of the relevant documents. On the other hand, one can also imagine a user might need to have as many relevant documents as possible. For example, if you're doing a literature survey, you might be in the second category, and you might find that system B is better. So in that case, we will have to also define measures to quantify them. And we might need to define multiple measures because users have different perspectives of looking at the results.